right around this time of year. I was in kindergarten, and we had painted all these Indians for Thanksgiving. And on my way home for Thanksgiving break, it was blown out of my hands. And I went home crying to my mom and my brother. And then we searched and searched, and we went across the schoolyard. There we found it up against a fence and ripped to shreds. And we took it home and taped it all up. You know, it was like I was attached to that painting. And I guess as I got older, I learned how to let go of things, to appreciate the present and live in the present rather than live in the past. The designs are all improvised right off the top of my head, and whatever happens, happens. It just flows, just comes out of your hand. You just manipulate your hand so I can create a small funnel or a larger funnel. And you just create all different types of line styles that way. I feel art's a very important part of people's lives, so I want to share it with people. And what better way than just surprise them in the street with it? So, if you can help, put it right there, all of it. Ah, good job.
Painting is an ephemeral art form, which means that it doesn't last, it's not permanent, it's momentary. I've had people come up and say things to me like, your painting has really moved me emotionally, or your painting has touched me in some way, and I think, wow, that's great. I've just helped that person experience a little piece of bliss or joy somehow in their life.
Today, when I leaned over and had this fine chalk powder saturated in all kinds of purple and yellow, and had it crumble under my hands and mesh in with the bricks of the ground, I felt like that I was dealing with the raw materials of the universe.
It's an experiential kind of art form. When you encounter a street painting, usually the person is working on it, and you get to see an artist right in front of your eyes. Yes, folks, live, here we are, you know, making the artwork, and it's not, you're not removed from that.
I am incapable of some of the nuances and refinements that I once was capable of, but I enjoy all these subtle new variations of art that I'm experiencing that I never could have experienced before I ended up in a wheelchair.
So you're walking down the street and wow, all of a sudden you see this amazing thing in front of you. It makes you stop and look at that and investigate that and just appreciate what that is. So, you know, it might change my day. It might change the way I look at the rest of my day. I don't know.
To be able to let a fifth grader join in the creation of an artwork, that the fifth grader will add a component to the artwork that I couldn't add, that would add dimensions to my poor artwork.
I'm Danny Setiawan, body painter for Den Art NY in New York City. Like, body painting is often associated with just, sex or erotic stuff, and a lot of times, when I tell people I do body painting, they're like, oh, the Playboy Mansion kind of thing? Do you paint bikinis or jersey or a cheetah? And a lot of people actually come here, they're like, oh, I'm very self-conscious, I don't know, I don't like my leg, I don't like my whatever. But then once they're painted, they stop judging their own body. When they look at their body in the mirror, they're like, oh, I'm a work of art. Yeah. They start flashing people. So, you have the urge to flash people, by the way.
Apparently.
You want to take a break? I figured that, with doing this, it's like using the famous pieces to validate the medium, the body painting as a medium. It's like doing a cover. As a musician, you do cover. I do believe that everybody has that, the ability to appreciate art, no matter from which culture you're from. Of course, an easy example, if you listen to a certain piece of music from a totally different culture that you don't understand what they're talking about, but it's beautiful, you're like, oh, yeah, that's nice. It makes you feel something. And I believe that visual art is the same way. It should make people feel and reminds them of their humanity, what it is to be human. The favorite part for me would be the moment when, right after the painting is done, and when the model look at herself or himself in the mirror and like, whoa, this is me. And you're just like, oh, this is so cool. I'm different, I'm a work of art. That is very rewarding for me as an artist.
Fitzpatrick, and I'm an ephemeral artist. My daughter was 3 years old. It was 1991, and she had asked me to go outside and build her a snowman. She says, but Daddy, she's 3 years old. She says, it's got to look like Santa Claus. Like deadpan serious, Don't even build me a snowman if it doesn't look like Santa Claus. So I went outside and I fell in love with the impermanence of the medium, and then when the snow was gone, it was just a trip to the beach.
This is the weirdest industry you'll ever find in your life because we kind of thrive on the nothingness of what there is. What is this? This is nothing. This is just sand and water. It's going to go away in a week. It might not even last the week that this thing is open, which is okay. I've had arguments over whether or not it should be permanent. Well, why the hell would you want to make this permanent? You know, this is like Thanksgiving dinner. You don't make those mashed potatoes just to look at them. You make them to eat them. So we're here making stuff so you can eat it right now. You know, and come and join us and have some fun and look at it. That's all we want.
The science behind sand sculpting is really cool because there really is a science. It's all physics. People ask me all the time, you know, how does that stuff stick together? And it's really just as simple as little bridges of water in between each grain of sand. So you compress the sand into either a wooden form or you can compress it by hand. And basically you just add the water to the sand, and once that water's gone, that bridge that's holding that grain together, you know, everything just wants to roll apart and fall apart, and that's what happens sometimes, you know, that's why we have collapses.
Yeah, the sand doesn't make a sound when it falls, it's gone. But what you hear is the crowd go, it's this collective intake of breath, you know, it sucks the oxygen out of the air. All of a sudden you're, 40 steps behind where you just were.
I had a little setback yesterday, had a complete collapse. I wasn't really disappointed for myself because as a sand sculptor, I'm kind of geared towards, if it lasts 5 minutes or if it lasts 5 hours, I feel the same.
Well, we tend to appreciate things more when they're not permanent. When we think that it's going to be there always, you tend to not appreciate it. It can be people, things.
The art isn't important. People are important. If I were to do this art in my studio, it would mean nothing.
We don't intend for it to last that long. Therefore, this is just us. It's just purely us. We don't have to encode anything in. We don't have to inscribe, we don't even sign our stuff. It's just there. It's for you to enjoy now. And it's over. It's gone.
I guess I would say my mission as an artist is to make the broken smile again. And I hope that a lot of people who experience this would see themselves differently and accept their bodies and enjoy their bodies, and especially when they have body image issues and they walk away feeling beautiful.
The coolest thing is looking down on it and seeing like you are art. I mean, the human form is art in itself, but this takes it to a whole new level.
The ephemeral quality is that it's a moment in time, and it really taught me, and maybe will teach others, how to not be so possessive of things. And I think that's what makes it so special, is that it's fleeting and it's momentary, and it's not something we can hold on to. It's a good metaphor for life. Don't hold on to things.
Well, I think every day it's like you take the experience of your day and it's not going to be relived. So it's about making the most of every day that you have. So you let go of every day at 12 midnight.